A two, a one, two, three. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. Hey, check me out. Welcome to Teek's Tips. I'm Atika, also known as Teek, and here are some of my tips. Today's episode is going to be about forgiveness. Forgiveness, the two-way street. What is forgiveness? What does forgiveness mean? I'm going to ask a trusted friend. Hey Alexa, what does forgiveness mean?
The noun forgiveness is usually defined as act of forgiving, state of being forgiven.
Thank you, Alexa. She liked to talk. But the act or state of being.
Hi there. It's great to talk to you.
Now she's trying to take over my show. Great. We learned not to use the word in the definition, but you obviously know what it means to forgive. So let's hop into the tips. Tip number 1. Perfection is an illusion. So nobody's perfect. That's a cliche, but there is some truth in that. Nobody is perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Perfection is an illusion fueled by the expectations of others. Because I wouldn't have known I made a mistake unless someone said, that's wrong, you made a mistake. When you're a kid, you make a mistake and your parents say, you shouldn't do that. It's based on their expectations of what is right and what is wrong, because that can be relative. We're only human. And our quote unquote mistakes are a part of the journey. We indeed do learn from them. So I find that to be a very important tip to remember in life, but also when it comes to dealing with things that may seem like a mistake or things that other people are being a little hard on you about, or it's hard for someone to forgive because it was a mistake. Mistakes happen. Perfection is an illusion. We will always make mistakes, but it's a part of the journey. And the goal is to learn from them. So hopefully we are learning from the mistakes that we're making. And we all deserve a little forgiveness, don't we? Tip number 2, don't be so hard on yourself. And I feel like that's another rule that you can use in life on everything, because don't sweat the small stuff, because everything is just small stuff. Keeping in mind that perfection is an illusion, it can remind us to be gentle with ourselves, reminding us we can mess up, we can make these quote unquote mistakes, and we will, because that's the journey that we are on. We're on this journey called life, and mistakes will happen, but we can still overcome them. I think it's truly important to learn from your mistakes, because as we learn from them, we can look back and say, well, I went through that, it really hurt, I messed up, but it was a learning experience and it was something that I could overcome. I am not my mistake, so don't be so hard on yourself. Tip number 3, put yourself in your neighbor's shoes. So we are all human. We will all make mistakes, all of us. No one is an exception to that rule. And remember, the mistake is in the eye of the beholder, to be true, because it's an expectation of another person that you did not meet. You didn't meet that expectation, so you made a mistake. Okay? So try to understand why it happened, whatever it is. Try to see the human side of things, remembering that that's all we are. We are all flesh and blood, humans, made up of most of the same DNA. So I'm not much different than you, and you're not much different than I. We may make different mistakes. We may do them differently, but we are all human. And what? Perfection is an illusion. These little cheap signs I try to make, they're killing me, by the way. But y'all get what I was trying to do. Teek's Tips. Check me out. Yep, I'm a work in progress. Mistakes, expectations. If y'all got them, get off my page, okay? Don't get off. Stay. I love y'all. It is impossible to quote unquote do the right thing all the time. Life is full of mistakes that become some of our most important lessons. Personally, I learned a lot from a lot of my mistakes that I made in life, and who's to say I won't make those same mistakes again? I will hope not. It may be in a different way, a different shape, but I did learn from the previous quote unquote mistake. Tip number 4, be genuine. And I feel like this is important as well because the truth is the truth. I know when someone is being ingenuine, so do you. Energy does not lie. And you know when someone is being authentic and genuine in themselves. And your truth is your truth. Sometimes we are so afraid to speak our truths that we silently suffer for other people's happiness. We always respect that person who will speak their truth without any filter. Cardi B, oh, we love her. Why? Because she speaks her truth authentically, no matter what. The truth is, forgiveness isn't always granted. And the truth be told, that's your prerogative. However, I feel like out of all the tips that I just gave you guys on my opinion and forgiveness, this is the number 1 top tip. If you forgot everything else I said, please listen to tip number 5, my last and final tip. Forgive yourself. Period. With a T. Period. Okay? That's the most important thing, because if you don't forgive yourself, who's going to forgive you? And besides that, you have to live with yourself. You can't go around not being gentle with yourself, believing that I should have did it this way because perfection is an illusion. Be gentle with yourself. Be genuine. If you are truly apologetic and sorry for what you did, that's all you can be. And if you learn from your mistakes, that's all you can do, because you are human. It is the other person's prerogative to forgive you or not forgive you. But forgiving yourself goes a long way. We are so hard on ourselves. So sometimes that equates to being so forgiving with others. So I say it's a two-way street, because as someone who made the quote unquote mistake, you want to be forgiven. But on the other hand, the person who feels wrong, they don't have to forgive you. That is their prerogative. But they in turn need to forgive themselves, as you also need to forgive yourself. So it's a two-way street. Forgive me, I forgive you. Forgive myself for what I did. I made a mistake. I'm only human. Please don't expect me to be perfect. Drop your expectations, and my mistakes won't even matter. I hope that makes sense, because this topic was really important to me, because I personally have been really working on forgiving myself for some things that I've done where I may have hurt another person and I didn't really realize my fault in the situation. And when I did, I felt so guilty. It was so guilty that I internalized the pain, and I was really not treating myself kindly. I was being very mean to myself based on what I did to somebody else, because I felt so bad. But they don't have to forgive me. I can't force anyone to forgive me. You can't force anyone to forgive you, but you can force yourself to forgive yourself. Thank you for tuning in to Teek's Tips. Please keep on tuning in. I'm really, really appreciating the love that I'm getting. I'm only going to grow from here. This is only episode 3, and I'm learning what works and what doesn't work. I really do appreciate your feedback. I forgive you if it comes off the wrong way. No, but I'm not, I got thick skin. I'm not super sensitive. I can take the criticism. I appreciate it. And I got some things coming. The last episode of the month, I would like to open it to topics chosen by you guys. Yesterday, I posted on Instagram a question asking what topics, and some people did get back to me. If you have any topics you would like some tips just from me, remember this is just my opinion. Some questions, hopefully I can give you some answers on those. And again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you. Peace. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. Hey, check me out.